Going on now? Colonel Panic here. I wanted to do a quick video on this lock. Give a shout out to Doc Machina. She's doing a giveaway for 420 subs. So I will do the hashtag, the shout out, and whatnot there. Congratulations on your subs. If you guys don't know who she is, get over there, give her a like and subscribe. This is the Zarker J45S. I wanted to do a bit of an intro to disc detainer locks. The challenge on the giveaway was to pick a green dot lock, and it just so happens that this is the one I was working on currently, and so cool, let's do it. This is a pretty cool little lock, man. This is honestly one I would use myself as far as securing my personal things. I mean, if it was something that I really wanted to keep safe, I would probably choose a better option, but for your normal day-to-day things that there's not a lot of money behind, you know, sheds, toolboxes, some of that stuff, I think this is a fine option. It's got a guarded shackle, makes it a little harder to cut because your thieves are typically opportunists. You know, they're going to look for something that looks easy to get into, and they're going to try to break something to get into it. That's what 99% of them do. Most of them aren't pickers, you know. Anybody that can or does have a basic knowledge of picking is going to find this to be a disc detainer, and your typical raking and whatnot attacks are not going to work there. So if you happen to have the one guy walking down the road that wants to steal your shit and has a disc detainer pick in his pocket, well, you know what, I guess you probably should. But other than that, this is not a bad option. You get like 2 of them off of Amazon for 25 bucks, key to like. The other one that came with this one I actually put on my locker at work. You know, again, a relatively low security application there. None of the guys I work with pick locks anyway, and most of them are good guys. They're just not going to steal my shit. This one I'll probably try to find another use for. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it, or I may just throw it in my comfort lock bucket. You know, to pick it whenever I feel like it. We'll see. TBD. The shackle, when you unlock this thing, actually comes all the way out. I mean, I don't know if that's really a plus minus in any regard, you know, benefit or pitfall, either one. I think they probably did it as a cost-cutting measure so that they did not have to build in a retention system for one side of the shackle. I'm fine with that. I don't care. You know, the pick that we're going to be using is one of the cheap Chinese-made disc detainer picks off of Amazon. I bought these because they were only like 15 bucks with Amazon Prime, obviously free shipping, and I wanted to get a disc detainer pick in hand to kind of see how they're made and get an idea of how I could duplicate one. You know, the rear tensioner, the only thing I think I can use off of it is going to be the handles. The rest of it I think is pretty well scrapped. I may or may not be able to use the actual pick tip off of that rear tensioner. I didn't throw it away. I set it aside. I'll mess with it later. This one, on the other hand, is not bad. It's got a good fit between the pick handle and the tensioner handle. There's no slop there at all. It's got a nice clean, you know, rotation. It doesn't bind or anything. I made a new pick tip for it. The pick tip that was on here was what I would call probably mild steel or medium steel. It was crap. You could take it and just push it with your thumb and bend it, and it would hold that bend. There was really no strength there at all to it. The tip itself was press fit on there, so even if I did want to reshape it, I couldn't, because I would have taken that mushroom press fit off the end of it, and it would have probably just fallen apart. And the pick tip that was on there was obviously way too big for any real practical applications. So in order to use it, I would have definitely had to reshape it. But anybody that does pick a disc detainer lock knows that ejector pins are the go-to. So that's what I did with this. I made this. Let's see if I can get a somewhat close shot here. Out of an ejector pin, made it nice and thin so that it will fit in between the discs, you know, when you're rotating. Another little life hack that I would like to share. Let me get a drink of my coffee real quick here. Another little life hack that I would like to share is one way to get this so that you can make sure that you're grabbing the first disc only. I saw this on another video. If I could remember where I saw it, I would give credit to that video, but unfortunately I've watched a lot of videos. I can't remember who did it. So shout out to whoever you are. Thank you for the awesome advice here. Excuse me. But you'll have to bear with it. We're getting our first good cold snap of the year, and my sinuses in my throat are definitely letting me know that. Part of my job, you know, a fair part of it is actually working outside, so I am out in the cold, and I was out in the cold all week last week. So, that said, when you take this core and you turn it, you know, step one of picking a disc detainer lock is to turn everything to zero, to your zero cut, which you do just like that, turn it clockwise, until all the discs seat fully clockwise. If you will take your first disc only with your tensioner and turn it back 90 degrees to your second, and then put your pick tip in here, you know, with this obviously down because you don't want, you know, to be hitting with the pick tip and the tensioner on your first and second discs. But if you put this guy in here like that, with that one, I'm not actually doing it, I'm just kind of demonstrating it. With your first disc turned at 90 degrees, the face of your tensioner is going to be resting on the second disc, and your tensioner is going to be holding the first disc. So you can take these screws right here and back them off, and then push this down so that it is all the way flush to the lock face, just like that. That's going to do two things. Number one, it is going to make sure that you're only holding your first disc, and number two, it is going to keep your pick perfectly square to your core. There's a couple other options for doing that. Some people like to take material off the tensioner so that you can only grab the first disc. I didn't want to actually do that because you can take material off once, you can't put it back on. So if I ever run into a situation where I need a little bit longer tensioner tip, I want to be able to do that. Number two that I've seen is a lot of people make little 3D printed spacers. I don't own a 3D printer. I'm sure that's probably a fine option, but this one works for me. So use whatever you prefer. Looking at our key, our disc number one is not a zero cut. We are tensioning off of it. We'll get to that here in a minute. We're going to start from disc number 7. It is a zero cut. Disc number 4 is also a zero cut. So if we start on disc number 7, I just like to put my pick on it and make sure that it is seated, you know, all the way clockwise, which it is. Then we're going to go to disc number 6, and it should give us a nice little click, just like that. We're going to go to disc number 5, click out 5. Disc number 4 is our 0, so we're just going to make sure it's seated. Disc number 3 should give us a slight click, just like that. And then I think I just tried to set this. Yeah, I just tried to set this core. We need to fix that. Hold on. That's 1, 2. Oh, that's 2 and 3. Sorry, just number 4. We need to make sure it's seated. Okay. No, we're good there. We're good there. Okay. This number 4 is fully seated. So we go to. There's number 3. I've actually got Vikings playing on the TV behind me. I like to have a little background noise when I play it. So. Okay, I think that was. Let's check our rotation on that last one here. You can take this and feel your gates here, but you know that's just detainer 101 stuff. If you want to learn that, I'm not going to explain it entirely in this video. As far as what a gate feels like versus. I don't think we were set there. There we go. So we're going to go all the way. This is the part that's the counter rotation. Okay. So we're going to go all the way to disc number 1, and we're going to tension off of it because it is that zero cut. Disc number 1 simply because it is easy to find. You go all the way to the back of the lock, go up one disc, put your pick on it. I just slipped off. Let me get back there again. Put your pick on it and tension there, and then you're going to take your tensioner and counter rotate. I think we just opened it. This is actually one of the trickiest parts of this lock when I first started picking it, was figuring out how to open the lock once it's picked. Yeah, we're open. I can feel that tension right there. Yeah, there it is right there. One of the trickiest things to figure out was actually opening the lock with that counter rotation, because of the way that feels. It's a unique feeling. But you can feel when you're counter rotating disc number 1, you can feel that last disc. There's you can feel that sidebar tension against it, and then pretty much every time I do that, my pick will actually slip off of disc number 7 because of that counter rotation will cause the pick to slip, and then I have to put it back on there, rotate it all the way back, and then rotate it back to 0, you know, to physically open the lock. It took a minute, you know, for my hands to teach themselves how to do that. But, yeah, I've enjoyed picking this lock. If you guys want an intro to disc detainers, I highly recommend this guy. It's a super fun pick, and it's challenging, but not so challenging that it's going to frustrate you for weeks on end. It took me, you know, basically a day of messing with it before I started getting opens, and then I spent like another day just picking it, you know, for fun, to kind of clean up my feel for the feedback, you know, how to test the discs rotationally to make sure I'm in gates, which is a skill going forward in disc detainers that you definitely want to be familiar with. You know, what a gate feels like, you know, the amount of play that your pick should have in one. Again, if you truly want to learn that, there's a load of tutorials, you know, that'll teach you that far better than I can, because people that know more than I do wrote those tutorials. All right. So, anyway, that's about all I got for today, you guys. I love each and every one of you. God bless you. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give me a like. Peace out.